Casey Anthony was born on March 19, 1986 in Warren, Ohio. Anthony was one of two children of Sydney and George Anthony, with George having worked in law enforcement. Anthony was a bright, personable young girl with friends and many thought was an ordinary American family. However, friends say that a pattern of lying began when Anthony was in high school. Sydney and George attended Anthony's graduation along with Anthony's grandparents, only to discover she was several credits short of graduating. Anthony had stopped attending classes towards the end of the school year, but led her family to believe she would walk with the graduating class. When she was 19 years old, Anthony gave her family yet another shock. She had put on weight and her parents suspected she was pregnant. Anthony denied it, claiming she was a virgin. Months into her pregnancy, she told her parents the truth. The identity of the baby's father, however, remained a mystery. Anthony pointed to different men, including her fiancé Jesse Grund, as well as a young man she had dated previously who died in a car crash. On August 9, 2005, Kaylee Anthony was born. A friend of Anthony said that she had discussed giving the baby up for adoption, but was discouraged by her mother. For the next few years, Anthony and Kaylee lived with their parents, and Grund acted as the baby's father. Grund even believed Kaylee might be his baby, despite knowing that the timing of conception made it improbable. A DNA test would later find that Grund was not Kaylee's father. The identity of Kaylee's father remained unknown. In mid-June 2008, with her suitability as a mother called into question by Sydney, Anthony left her parents' home after a major argument, taking Kaylee Anthony with her.
Opening statements. Judge Belvin Perry presided over the trial, which began on May 24, 2011 at the Orange County Courthouse. Kaylee Anthony's disappearance was revealed day by day in the opening statements by Maine prosecutor Linda Drain Burdick. The prosecution charged Casey Anthony with murder and sought the death sentence. According to prosecutors, Anthony used chloroform to make her daughter unconscious before suffocating her with duct tape. She then left Kaylee's body in the trunk of her car for a few days before disposing of it. They painted Anthony as a party girl who murdered her daughter in order to absolve herself of parental responsibilities and pursue her personal interests. In opening comments, the defense argued that Kaylee drowned by accident in the family's pool on June 16, 2008, and was discovered by George Anthony, who informed Casey she would spend the rest of her life in prison for child neglect, and then proceeded to cover up Kaylee's death. This, according to Bays, is why Casey Anthony moved on with her life after the incident and failed to report it for 31 days after that. He claimed Casey had a history of concealing her agony and acting as if nothing was wrong, since she had been molested by George Anthony since she was 8 years old, and her brother Lee also. Now, Bays also questioned whether Roy Crunk, the meter reader who discovered the bones, had taken them from somewhere else, and also claimed that the police department's investigation was compromised by their intention to create a media frenzy over a child's murder rather than a regular drowning. Casey had lied about having a nanny called Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez.
"400 pieces of evidence was presented in the case. A strand of hair was recovered from the trunk of Casey Anthony's car, which was microscopically similar to the hair taken from Kaylee's hairbrush. The strand showed root banding in which hair roots form a dark band after death, which was consistent with hair from a dead body. Kronk, who discovered the remains, repeated the same basic story that he had told police on Friday of October 24, 2008. A forensic report by Arpad Vass of the Oak Ridge National Laboratory judged that results from an air sampling procedure called LIBS performed in the trunk of Casey Anthony's car showed chemical compounds consistent with a decompositional event. Based on the presence of 5 key chemical compounds out of over 400 possible chemical compounds that Vass research group considers typical of decomposition. Investigators stated that the trunk smelled strongly of human decomposition, but human decomposition was not specific on the laboratory scale. The process has not been affirmed by Daubert tests in the courts. Vass groups also stated that there was chloroform in the car trunk. In October 2009, officials released 700 pages of documents related to the Anthony investigation, including records of Google searches of the terms neck breaking and how to make chloroform, on a computer accessibility to Casey, presented by the prosecutors as evidence of a crime.
Phone calls, phone calls, phone calls. Before I start, let me ask you something real quick. If you were, say, for example, in jail or locked up or just away from home, how do you communicate with your family? Phone calls, right? Yeah, me too. Casey Anthony seemed to think differently. Hi, my name is Logan Haricombe, and I'm here today to do a report on the death of Kaylee Anthony. Phone calls.
Most of you will already be aware of who 2-year-old Kaylee Anthony was.
Casey's case starts on the 15th of July with the mom, Cindy Anthony, calling 911, reporting that her granddaughter, Casey's daughter, has been missing for about a month. That same day, the 15th of July, was the first time Cindy saw her own daughter in about a month as well. Casey's reason? She was looking for a daughter. What bothered me the most was that Casey only told the mom that same day, instead of calling 911 the very first moment she realized the daughter was missing. Cindy eventually mentions that the car Casey used, the car she came in, smelled like there was a dead body inside. The police immediately request that they want to speak to Casey, as right now she's suspect number 1. Before eventually taking the phone, on request, she says this.
Can I speak with her? Okay, Sheriff's Department, they want to talk to you. Answer the question. Hello?
After questioning, Casey states that she believes that her daughter's babysitter stole her. Her name is Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez. Her daughter's babysitter for about 2 years. The difference in tone over the phone between Cindy and Casey was big. Casey was talking like she didn't care about anything at all. Casey paints a picture for herself, heartless. Soon after, unexpectedly, Casey was taken in and eventually interviewed by detectives. This is where Casey lied about most things, if not all, and the detectives could see right through it. They eventually realized it was enough to send her to county jail. At this point, the only way to communicate was, guess what? Phone calls, which is only available in the evening hours. Casey then calls her mom and says this without even saying hello.
Casey? Mom. Hey, sweetie. Oh, I just saw your nice little cameo on TV.
Which one?
What do you mean, which one?
Which one? I did 4 different ones, and I don't know. I haven't seen them all. I've only seen 1 or 2 so far.
You don't know what my involvement is and stuff?
Casey questions her mom in anger after what she said on TV, almost as if it was her mom's fault as to why she's in jail. At this point, her mom calls Casey out for being a liar. Casey eventually ends up screaming at her mom before demanding that she wants the phone number of her boyfriend. His name was Tony. For some reason, she wanted to call him instead of her mom, instead of her brother, or instead of her best friend, who were all present on the mom's side. But Casey wanted to talk to her boyfriend. The call ends with Casey and her best friend Christina in what would seem normal in terms of Casey.
Baby. Oh my god, calling you guys? A waste. Huge waste.
She describes the call as a waste. Thank you.
Verdict and sentencing. On July 5th, 2011, the jury found Casey not guilty of counts 1 through 3 regarding first-degree murder, aggravated manslaughter of a child, and aggravated child abuse, while finding her guilty on counts 4 through 7 for providing false information to law enforcement.
The aftermath of the Casey Anthony case. After the verdict, you were able to see the prosecution and defense give their 2 cents on how they felt the case went in the post-verdict interviews. The prosecution blamed the media and called part of it a media assassination. And they made it a very clear point that the popularity of this case was increased tremendous amounts when the news and other media got involved. one news program being quoted as almost single-handedly inflating the Anthony case from a routine local murder into a national obsession, end quote. While others are saying that they should not be concerned with what people have to say, the prosecution adds on claims like, I hope that this has been a lesson to those of you who have indulged in media assassination for 3 years, end quote. It seemed to be very upsetting for the prosecution that the outcome was not what they had been hoping for, as they believed that they had substantial evidence to find her guilty. The defense says that there aren't really any winners in this case, and that they were trying to bring justice to Kaylee and Casey Anthony, saying once again that Casey did not murder Kaylee, and that, quote, the justice system has not dishonored her with a false conviction, quote. Later on, the defense would be criticized for bringing attention to the media as well, before even mentioning the name of Kaylee Anthony in the post-verdict interviews. As for the very drained Anthony family still not knowing what happened to little Kaylee Anthony, and although not entirely agreeing with the defense's approach and the information that they had put out, they do believe that the jury made an educated decision based on all of the evidence presented. Of course, with the family being such a topic in this case, the family is now hoping for time away from the media and to make decisions towards their future and what's best for them. Usually after the trial, it's not really common for jurors to speak about a case this intense, and that was the case for most of them. Although those who felt ready to speak on the subject, the common theme within most of their statements was that there was just not enough correlating evidence, and that if the decision was based off of strictly emotions and feelings, Casey Anthony would have been found guilty.